seat.
Jalen said this was really cool.
He said that chair's pretty cool. Okay, so we'll roll with that one. Hey, look, you like it? If you want, you can kind of stand up for a second and pull it out a little more, and that way they'll give you a little more rock to it while you. Now try it. Is that better? Whoa! All right. So before we get started, I'm gonna introduce myself officially. I am Playa. Now tell me your name.
Imagine.
Imagine. I'm going to write it and I want you to spell it for me because I like to get things right when I'm in here. So spell your name.
E-M-A-J-E-N.
Imagine. Imagine, how old are you?
10.
Okay, 10. All right, Imagine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and about my job and about this room, and then we'll get started. Is that okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first thing is, my job is to talk to kids about all kinds of things. And the way I ask my questions sometimes might be a little different, so I'm going to show you how I do that and we'll practice a little bit. But before we do that, there's a couple of things I want to show you and tell you. So the first thing is, you see that dot in the ceiling up there? Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that is?
A camera?
It is. And so I record when I talk to young people because the things that you say are really important, and I want to make sure I remember everything that you say, everything that I say. So if I forget something, it's there, right?
Like a little video.
Like a little video, exactly. And also there's another room, and some people that I work with, they are watching us. And so what I'm going to do is, towards the end of our time together, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of a break to make sure I've asked all the questions that I'm supposed to ask, because sometimes I forget to ask questions that I'm supposed to ask. So they kind of help keep me straight. So I'll go back there, I'll let you stay in here, hang out for a little bit, I'll make sure there are no other questions, and then I'll come back and then we'll wrap up. Any questions about that stuff so far? None?
Actually, one.
Okay.
They're watching right now.
Yes.
If I wave will they see me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and so we got that, and this clipboard is, sometimes I write down things because while you're talking I don't want to interrupt, but I jot down things that I may want to go back to or I may want to remember. At any time, nothing that I write down is a secret, so if you want to see the clipboard that I'm writing on, you are more than welcome to ask me, and I'll let you see my clipboard. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. And then there's some things that I like to make clear. So these are kind of the way that I like to talk to kids. So there's some things that I really need for you to understand. This one says, if I use a word that you don't understand, just tell me and I'll choose another word. So sometimes grown-ups forget that everybody doesn't know every word, and I might use a word that doesn't make any sense to you. So if I use a word that you don't know what it means, just say, what? Can you ask that question another way? And I'll ask it in a different way, okay? This one says, if I ask you something you don't know, it's okay to tell me that you don't know. All that means is, if I ask you something and you don't know the answer, I don't want you to guess. You can just say, I don't know, and I'll be like, okay. This one says, if I say something and get it wrong, it's okay to correct me. So if you say something, because I'm going to repeat back a lot of the things that you say to me, if I get it wrong, don't let me sit here and get it wrong. I want you to say, Miss Claudette, that is not, or Miss Claudette, that is not what I said. And then tell me what the right thing is. So I really, really, really want you to correct me if I make a mistake, okay? All right. The other one says, if I ask you a question more than once, it doesn't mean that I want you to change your answer. It means that I'm trying to understand a little bit more, or sometimes I've forgotten I've already asked that question. So just go ahead and answer it again. Is that okay? And the last one says, if I ask you something and you don't remember, instead of making something up, I just need you to tell me, I don't remember or I don't know. Okay. So while we're talking today, I promise that I'm going to tell you the truth about everything. I promise to tell you the truth while we're talking today. Do you promise to tell me the truth while we're chatting today? You do? Okay. Now, do you have any questions about any of these rules, or do you need me to explain any of them to you? No? You got them all? Okay. So I'm going to practice one just to see if you get them right. Imagine you told me you were 15. What would you say to that?
No, I wasn't. I was 10.
I'm 10. And that's when I say if I get something wrong, you can correct me? Exactly, because I know you told me you were 10 because I'm looking at it right there on the board. So that's kind of how those work. Okay? All right. So we got all that stuff down.
Oh, and actually one question.
Okay, what's your question?
Why do people write E's with, and why do they look like 3s?
You know what? Because I just thought it was pretty, and I wrote it like that. Cause yeah.
Will people understand it?
I don't know. Do you understand that that's an E, or should I write it the right way?
Is that what I can understand?
You can understand it? Okay. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to practice with you the way I ask questions, because it's a little different than people typically ask questions. Is there something that you like to do, or you really enjoy, or do you do any sports, or do you have any hobbies?
I really enjoy playing Roblox with my sister, and my favorite sport is soccer.
Okay, so you enjoy playing Roblox with your sister and playing soccer. So if I said, tell me about the last time you played Roblox. Tell me that. Tell me about the last time you played Roblox.
The last time I played Roblox was on my mom's phone because I didn't have a phone back then.
Okay.
So I did, but it got smashed, and I was supposed to fix it yesterday.
Okay.
Or the day after. But the last time I was playing on my mom's phone, because she has 2 phones, because
Okay.
she got another one.
Okay.
As a replacement. The other one, I don't know what happened to it. Oh yeah, it lost service. And so we were playing, and I joined, and we played this weird game where you can color your car, make whatever, like get a house, make your car, make your avatar, choose your job. And so I started playing after I made a little couch spot for us to all play on with Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before Nuki was back. But we were all playing. He was playing on his phone, and I was playing on my mom's phone, and my sister was playing on her other phone because she didn't want to play on her phone.
Okay.
And so we started playing Roblox after I was done. And then, we basically didn't really play with each other. I joined it, and then I realized they picked a whole other game.
Okay.
And so I knew I wasn't in the game with them.
You wasn't in the game. So tell me about, and then so what I'll do is as we talk, I'll say, tell me more about that, and then I'll get you to give me more detail about something else, and then you'll say something, and I'll say, well, tell me what happened before that. So that's kind of how I ask my questions. Okay. All right. Tell me about the people that live in your house.
Okay.
So it's you, and who else?
Me, Empress.
So should I write my fancy E, or should I do it the right way? Fancy E. Okay.
She's always fancy.
Okay, so if Empress gets the fancy E.
She's a little sassy.
Okay. And how old is Empress?
5.
She's 5. Who is Empress?
My little sister.
That's your little sister. So if Empress gets the fancy E. Okay, who else is in the house?
Pharaoh.
Spell Pharaoh for me.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I think it's P-H-A.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
Well, close enough. We'll know that that's his Pharaoh's name. How old is Pharaoh?
9.
He's 9. Okay. And who is Pharaoh?
My younger brother.
He's your younger brother. So you, your sister, Empress, Pharaoh. Who else lives in the house? Javian. Okay. How old is Javian?
He's 13.
He's 13. Okay. And who else?
It just has to correct you. It's Javan.
Javan. You know what? Thank you for correcting me. And you were paying attention about my rules. Thank you. That's perfect. So Javan. Who else lives in the house?
Moses.
And Moses. Okay. And who's Moses?
He doesn't really live there, but he'll be there for like a long, long time.
Okay, so
basically like living there.
Gotcha. So it's basically like he lives there. So you said sometimes he'd be there for a long, long time, and then sometimes he's not there. So who is Moses?
Oh, he's the dude who kind of killed my mom and my little sister.
Okay. So who is he? And then who else lives in the house?
My dog.
Your dog? What's your dog's name?
Luna.
Luna. Okay. Anybody else? Any other grown-ups? No. So you got Moses. So when Moses isn't there as the grown-up, who else is there?
My mom.
Oh, we're missing mom. Yeah, okay, all right. That's all right. We'll put mom down. Do you know how old your mom is?
33.
33. Do you know how old Moses is? No. Okay.
Luna is 3.
Did you know I was going to ask that?
No.
Yeah, I was going to ask how old is Luna. So let me make sure I have this right. So in the house, there's you, and you're 10. Empress, who's 5. Pharaoh, who's 9, and that's your brother. And Empress is a sister. Javan with an A, who's 13. Moses, we're not sure how old he is. And you said sometimes he lives there, but when he's there for a long time. It's just like he lives there.
Yeah.
Luna, who's your dog, and she's 3, and mom is 33. So what is Moses to the people in the house? So who is he?
The dude really just shows at our house and he tries to be nice, sometimes doesn't be nice.
Okay.
And he hurts us sometimes. He'll try to play fight, but when he gets mad, he'll hurt us.
Okay.
I don't know if my other brother showed you this, but he grabbed her by his neck and slammed him on the floor because he got mad.
Okay.
But my mom always says to call him, she never said to, but she respects him, call him sir, even though he will be mean to her.
Okay.
But
so who is he to mom?
To mom, her partner.
It's her partner. Okay, so it's mom's partner, and to you guys, mom says to kind of respect him.
Yeah, so
and
we
call him.
outside, like if everybody would call him her stepdad.
Gotcha. So on the outside, like for other people, they were calling him your stepdad.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So
but if I knew what he was now, it wouldn't even be stepdad.
Really? And you said if you knew what he was now. So do you know why you're here to talk to us today?
Because the situation what happened.
Okay. So tell me about when you say the situation that happened. Tell me about the situation that happened. Tell me what you know about that.
So I know that we woke up. It was my mom's birthday.
Okay.
My basic grandma's birthday.
Okay.
And she died. She's at the cemetery, and so we were gonna go to there. They got into a big argument. Can I play that?
Yeah.
Alright.
You know what? Thank you. So there are fidgets on the table. I was supposed to tell you that and I forgot. There are fidgets on the table. You can actually, if you want to draw, this is my side of the board, but if you want to draw on this side of the board while we talk, you're more than welcome to draw on that side of the board. This is my juice. You can't have it. But if you want to use this as well, so anything on the table, please feel free. So fidgets as well. Okay. And there's a blanket there. If you get cold, you can throw it over your legs. Okay. So you said there was you talked about your grandma and then that she's not alive anymore and you guys were gonna go to the cemetery?
Yeah,
and you said when you said they were arguing, who's they?
Moses and my mom.
Okay, and when was this? When were they arguing?
I don't know how many days it's been since the car crash, but I think it's been 2, so like maybe 3 days ago.
Okay.
Maybe. Probably 2 though.
So was it the same day as the car crash they were arguing? Before that or something else? So I want to make sure I'm
basically the same, say the same day, but yes, the same day. How do I explain this? So it's like this.
That's where you know how. That's fine.
It's like the same day, but then tomorrow, before the same day, at nighttime they argued.
Gotcha. So tell me about what. So I'm thinking I understand. So tell me about what you know about the car crash and about them arguing.
So they started arguing because he was talking bad about my mom with her friend Nini, the one who was our neighbor, and his brother, and he was making her feel bad. So they got into a big argument last night, and he got mad, so he peed on her back in the bathroom when she was taking a bath, and. Then when we woke up, my mom went into her car. I went out there to check on her. The Empress was in there, and she was gonna drive to the cemetery. But then she left because Moses wouldn't get in. He was acting like a fool today. And he wouldn't get up and go with them. And my mom said, I really want you to come with. So she went into the house, started talking to him. But then she said, come inside, grab the keys and purse. When we get hot, so me and my baby sister got into an argument. We apologized. We had fun outside, and then we didn't really have fun though, but we were just playing around. Okay. And then so we went inside because it started getting hot. Okay. And also just to mention, me and her were playing a game in the car when the sunroof was open, because there was a tree above us, and the sunroof was open, above the sunroof. And so we laid our head back. We said, whoever gets a flower on their head first loses. And then one fell close to us, but none of us lost because then we started getting hot. So we grabbed the keys, went inside, and I said, wait, you sure? What if we don't go to Grandma's birthday? She said, come on, I'm hot. And I said, okay, because I don't want her being hot. Okay. Because I don't want her getting burned. Right. Okay. I want to make sure she can trust me. So I took her inside, my mom and Moses. My mom was sitting on the couch crying. Okay. And Moses was sitting on the chair just being mean to her by saying mean stuff. Okay. And then so we went to our room. They had a humongous fight, crying. Then she yelled at my baby sister to go back in her room because they kept on coming out. And since my baby sister never liked him because he was mean and my older sister never liked him, she followed behind Kylie, my older sister.
Gotcha.
And so.
Now Kylie's not on here. Does Kylie live with you guys?
No. She lives with her dad.
Okay, Kylie lives with her dad. Okay, I just want to make sure we weren't missing. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anybody off the list. Okay.
Same as Ava too.
Okay.
And so then, yeah, she followed off Kylie, and then so she came out, and then my mom yelled, she went back in. We started drawing together, and I went to the bathroom and just started drawing in there. And then Farrah came because he had to use the bathroom. And then so we went back into the room, and then she went out there again at first. And she yelled, and then but she saw them kissing. I don't really know what they were, but my mom was on his shoulder, crying. But then Empress got mad and started kicking our room around, throwing stuff on the floor. But yes, she's strong. She picked up a big countertop and slammed it on the floor. Okay. Yeah, she's only 5. Okay. But she got mad because she wanted them to break up, and they didn't. Okay. Even though how he was treating my mom.
Okay. And so then what happened after that?
Then it became dark. Moses said he was going to fix my phone. I've been waiting for a phone. Moses said he would fix my phone when he gets back if I clean the whole house. I started getting sad, saying, how do you want me to do all that while we're gone for a night? Because I had to clean up what my baby sister destroyed. Okay. But it was a mess. And I didn't even want to clean up the fridge. I'm like, how is the fridge dirty? There's just groceries that are not in order. And he wanted me to fix it. I said, no, that's not fair. And I said, fine, Mom will do it. He said, Mom will touch.
So you said you said he wanted you to clean up while they were gone. Where were they going?
So they're supposed to be going to the cemetery.
They're supposed to be going to the cemetery. So who was going to the cemetery?
My mom and Moses and my sister. But the weird thing why we think Moses killed him on purpose is because the only people he wanted to go was the 2 people he hated. I tried to go, he wouldn't let me.
So so tell me about that. You said you tried to go and he wouldn't let you.
He wouldn't let me.
What do you mean?
Like, he said I shouldn't go. He said there's not enough seats. I said how? And then he said Mom, I'm called. And Mom said I just want to talk to Grandma alone. But I said I want to come. I want to be there for Grandma's birthday. My mom said no. After he said no, because she for some reason says yes to everything he says. And then so she said, why are you talking back? Just do it. And so I didn't get to go. And we were supposed to play Roblox together because my phone was going to get fixed. Gotcha. But then they never came back.
Gotcha. So I'm going to go back a little bit so first I want to say thank you for giving me all that information. You gave me a lot. So I'm going to go back to different pieces of it and ask you questions. So one of the things you said was that your mom and Moses were arguing and that your sister was in the room and then she came out of the room. And where were you when they were arguing?
In our room.
In your room. Do you tell me what you heard?
I heard him saying that about Glenn. That's my mom's ex, and he's like our neighbor. And Moses didn't know that. But my mom, she didn't even want to move here, but we didn't have a lot of money, and this was the only place. It had a shopping thing. We can get food from here. We get cheap for my mom, so she bought it here. He found out about it, and that's when he peed on her back. And then she created some inappropriate words while he was doing it.
Okay. So you said, so he was arguing. You said they were arguing about Glenn, and Glenn was. Tell me who Glenn was.
My mom's ex.
The mom's ex, okay. And then you said it was about moving into the apartment complex. Do you remember hearing anything else when they were arguing?
My mom said how because he kept on she didn't like how he was comparing her to mom's friend. And he said why can't she be like her? And so my mom got mad and said, why don't you go be with her? And then he said, why don't you go inappropriate word.
Okay, and so what I will tell you is, you can use whatever words you need to in here to explain what we're talking about, and you won't get in trouble with me for the words that you say. So you don't have to say inappropriate words. You can tell me the word that was used.
But the reason I don't use it, this is how my brother acts. He wasn't usually allowed to, but now that my mom's gone, he acts like he can just break off of her rules. I don't think the same like that. Okay. Because she's gone. She's not like gone.
Gotcha.
Her rules still matter.
Okay. So tell me again what he said, and then when you say inappropriate word, do you want to write the word down?
I don't really know how to spell, but I think that's wrong.
Okay, we can use one of those markers. You can write it over there. So tell me what they were saying when they were arguing.
So he got mad and then started cussing at her.
Okay. And what was when he was cussing at her? What was he saying?
He told my mom that he can go his.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mom started breaking down tears, crying on the couch, saying we didn't really want to move here, but we had to. And he said, well, why did you tell me that he was here? And then he started getting mad at us because we didn't tell him. I said, well, you didn't ask, one. And two, the reason I didn't say it is because our mom didn't want us talking about him because he left us all on the street freezing cold.
Gotcha.
And so, because that's our only place we could stay.
Okay.
We didn't have money because my mom was on a job, and a house job. So then, that night we just left in the car. But he said he got mad at me and all my other families. He didn't even get mad at them. He got mad at Jalen, me, didn't.
So tell me more about the what was going on before Moses and Mom and Empress left. So you told me about they were arguing. Do you remember anything else about that day?
He just got dressed and then they left.
And then he got dressed and then they left. Okay. And you said something about them arguing one time and that he peed on Mom's back in the bathroom. Now is that something that you saw or something that you heard or something else? How do you know that? How do you know about that?
I hear it from my older sister, my mom, my other brothers.
Okay.
So they were arguing, so she took a bath, a hot bath, she left, and she said while she was there, he came down, pulled his pants down, and started peeing on her back, saying, suck Glenn's.
Okay. So he did that. And then he
only brought Empress and Mom, two people he didn't like.
So he took Empress and Mom, and they were supposed to be going to the cemetery, and you said that they just didn't come back. Gotcha.
Only Moses did.
Only Moses did. Tell me about that.
And so he came back in a gown, like a hospital gown with blood all over him, and he had a hole in his head.
Okay.
And then me and my brother started crying, saying, where's our mom at? And he wouldn't tell us, so we got mad and we wouldn't stop asking. And we said, where's Empress? He said, the little girl. I said, yeah, she said, how old is she? There's some other people, and they said, go to Nene's house. And Nene said, why are all the people at her door? Because she knew us and Moses, but his whole family was there, which I didn't know that was his family.
Okay.
I thought that was the doctors. And I was really uncomfortable when they started kissing my forehead, hugging me, saying, if you want to move in with me. I didn't know who these people were.
Oh, so there were other people there when...
Yeah, his whole family. So I said, no, I'm not going to move in with you. I don't know who you are. And then they told me that he was there most of his family. We went to my friend's house because we could trust her.
Okay, when you say you went to your friend's house, who's your friend?
Sean.
Okay.
He's 8 years old.
Okay.
And I thought he was 9, but he's 8 years old. Okay. And then
And what's Sean's... who are the grown-ups at Sean's house?
His mom.
What's his mom's name?
Something, but we call her Nene.
You call her Nene. Okay, all right. So you went to Nene's house and your friend Sean's house. And then what happened?
And I hear the doctor say my mom didn't make it. They died at the same time. Me and my brother started crying. But my brother didn't know she didn't make it. He thought there was someone. I said, where's Empress? She said she's on a life support machine. Then Glenn tried to tell me how her skull was cracked, how she wasn't going to make it. I didn't believe it. But then Nene said how her skull was cracked, so I kind of fell on the sidewalk crying. And then so we went into this house. I couldn't stop crying, but his family kept saying, be strong, man. But I couldn't. It wasn't something like that easy to stop crying of.
Right.
Because my mom didn't make it, and my little sister was in the hospital with her skull cracked open, and they said her, like, you know how a skull looks, right? She said the top half was split open.
Who told you that?
Glenn.
Glenn.
And then my little sister's a brain.
Glenn?
My mom's ex.
Okay, so Glenn was there as well?
And he said, call me Bob in front of Moses, so he doesn't know who I am.
Ah, okay. So and this was at whose house?
Nini's house.
Okay,
At
so-
the front of her house.
Okay, so Glenn was there, but he said call him Bob
In front
in
of
front
Moses.
of Moses. So Moses was there. Glenn
Nini
was
tried
there.
to get him away because she knew what he did. Because the moment he's talking in the hospital gown, Nini told her daughter that he killed Dorothy.
Okay.
And
So my question. So you said. So who said he killed Dorothy?
almost everybody I know.
Okay. But no, just now you said was it who said?
Nini said it.
Nini said he
And
killed.
then everybody said
And then who did Nini say that to?
her daughter.
Nini said that to her
Zanae.
daughter. And what's her daughter's name?
Zanae.
Zanae. Okay, so Nini said to Zanae that Moses killed Dorothy.
Yeah, she looked out and she exactly said Moses killed her.
Okay. So tell me, I'm going to go back a little bit because I want to get some more details. I want to learn a little bit more about kind of what it was like in the house with Mom and with Moses. So, you told me about the day that, Mom and Moses were they were arguing before they were going to Grandma's to see Grandma's at the grave. Okay. Can you remember? Tell me about what it was like in the house with Mom and Moses when everybody was there, people were there.
It was fine until he started showing his real color. Then he started getting mad more, acting different more.
Okay, so tell me what it looks
The
like.
kids started fighting with him more.
Okay, what does that mean? That he started acting different and
meaner.
meaner. Okay, what does that mean?
Like,
tell me all about that.
He would ask her. They would ask him a question like, "Can you help me?" He would say no. Then he would start being mean to them, and then they got into an argument. And then Pharaoh and him were on the table, and they got into an argument. And so Pharaoh smacked him. And then he picked Pharaoh up by his hands on the neck, and then threw him on the floor.
Okay. So tell me about that. So you said him and Pharaoh got in. Now, wait, is this something that you saw, or something you heard, or something else? Heard. No, who did you hear it from?
Pharaoh.
Okay. So.
And Pharaoh. It might have been somebody else, but I don't recall.
Okay. All right. So Pharaoh told you about that happening.
And of course I believe it because he almost broke my other brother's arm, and then he almost hurt me.
Okay.
He made me cry a lot by hurting me, but yeah.
Okay, you said he made you cry a lot by hurting you. Tell me about that.
Like, one time at the house, he was on top of me, smacking me in my face so I couldn't do anything. We would play, but then when he got mad, he started hurting people more. Like, it wasn't like play fight anymore, it was like real hurting.
Okay, so tell me about so how would you know the difference between play fighting and not play fighting?
Because he would like hit us with pillows, like play fighting, right?
Okay.
Basically like a pillow fight, but not. He would like play. He would sometimes smack us in the face, but then he would throw us on the ground, kick us on the ground, punch us on the ground, use the bowl to hit us in our face, throw us to the wall, kick us to the wall until we fall on the ground. Then he would have pinned me down while smacking me in the face so I couldn't do anything.
Okay.
And then he treated me like a slave because our dad was abusive. So he said, "I'll send you a dad if you don't call me Papa." And then he said, "Call me Papa," and say Papa no.
Okay. So tell me, so you talked about him play fighting with you and then also with him doing some of this stuff. So tell me about, because you said something about him, and we're going to talk about what happened with you. So tell me about a time that something happened with you that you knew he wasn't play fighting. And
there's one he was so mad he had veins on his arms and grin, and he pinned me to the ground and started beating me up. And then kicked me to the wall because I hit his hat off.
Okay.
I smacked his hat off, didn't even touch him.
Okay. So you smacked his hat off, and then tell me what happened immediately after you smacked his hat off.
He jumps at me, he throws me onto the bed, trying to hurt me. He starts punching me, starts kicking me, starts smacking me, hitting me. And so I run off the bed and I jump at him because he jumped at me. So I try to punch, I miss, he grabs me, he punches me. So I run out the house, then my mom gets mad at me for running out the house even though he was chasing me in the hallway when I was running.
Okay.
And then my mom got mad at me, and me and her got into an argument that I had to sit in the bathroom for running out the house.
You had to sit in the bathroom for running out the house, okay.
In timeout.
In timeout, okay. So tell me about you said he was punching you. Tell me about that. Now are you guys playing? Are you not playing, or something else? What's going on when this is happening?
to me, he would like put me down, start punching my leg nonstop.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if he was like funny, but to me it was hurting, and I started crying, and he still wouldn't stop. Usually he would stop, but that's how I knew he was mad, because he wasn't stopping, even though I was crying.
Okay. So you would be crying. And so was there ever a time when these things were happening that it left like any marks or bruises or something else?
I don't recall, but there
recall?
probably been some, but I can't recall. You know, mostly all from my brothers.
You know what? Well, I appreciate you telling me that you don't remember. That was one of my rules up there, wasn't it? Okay. So but you know.
I'm sorry for using don't recall instead of don't remember.
You know what? Whatever words you need to use, those are the words I want you to use. So don't recall, don't remember. I completely understand what you mean, because if I don't understand something that you're saying, I'm going to ask you, I don't understand that. Can you say that for me again? So you're completely okay. So you were telling me about the day that all of this stuff happened, and you were telling me about kind of some of the stuff where you were sometimes he would be play fighting, and then it would turn into it would start hurting, you would start crying, and then you would end up in timeout. Are there any times you remember anything happening where with Moses, or any times do you remember anything happening with Moses where anyone in your house was hurt and there were marks or bruises or something else?
No, I don't think there were bruises.
No? Okay, all right. Is there anything about the day of the accident, and I remember you said they were arguing, is there anything about any of that you remember that you think might be important for me to know?
That's not really, let's make it arguing. Then second, they're crying, my mom was crying, then they left. And next thing I know, only Moses shows up, my mom and Emperor is gone. Even though the two people he hates, so that's why we all think it's suspicious.
Okay.
But I feel like it's my fault that they died, because if I didn't go in because me and my big sister were sweating, my mom would have driven by herself, and then nothing would happen. So that's why I feel like it's my fault.
You feel like it's your fault because that's right. You said you and Empress were sitting in the car, and you
my mom
were
be
sweating,
right back.
and you said she was coming back, and then you guys were sweating, and you went back in the house.
And that's why I feel like it's my fault that they died.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm gonna ask a few more questions. Okay. So we talked about the day of the accident. So we were talking about being in the car. Tell me about when you are riding in the car. Tell me about the seatbelts. How do people in your house typically ride in the car?
Well, we would ride in the car. My mom would always say, put your seatbelt. We would. My big sister, she was in a car seat. She would use both seatbelts because my mom's very paranoid of getting in a car crash. So my sister would be in a car seat. She would always be in the middle. And sometimes when we first didn't have a car seat, she would be like not a car seat, like the little baby, not the baby ones where it has around you, like the little pad ones. Okay. She would ride in those, and she would always be in the middle, because my dad would make her be in the middle after he still loads of flash, because one time she was on the side and he opened the door and she swung out.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Okay.
And then after, especially because her door was open and she was driving on the highway, and one time it flung open, but luckily she didn't fall out, but it slammed back shut. So then ever since she started being in the middle, and the oldest would be on that. She also said the three youngest would be in the middle and the oldest were in the back.
Okay, the youngest would be in the middle and the oldest would be in the back. Okay. Have you ever ridden in the car with Moses before?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
We went to the 7-Eleven to start selling stuff, getting Cheetos, but didn't go. Me and him got into a fight, and then we just went back home.
Okay.
But actually, my brother and my friend's mom, Nini, and my brother, she said how he was driving extraordinarily fast, and that even her son, she said, Nini said, hold on, King, because her little, my friend Sean, his little brother, King, he's like 3, maybe older than that.
Okay.
He was flinging back, saying, okay, Mom. I said, she asked, was he going fast? And he struggled, but said yes, because he was going so fast.
Okay.
And he was running.
Now, were you in the car when that happened, or did you hear about that or something else?
I heard about
You
that.
heard about that. Okay. All right.
Because Nene told me, my brother told me, King told me, everybody who was in the car told me, especially my mom.
Okay. So has there ever been a time in the car with Mom or with Moses or with anyone else where you didn't feel safe?
No.
Okay.
Everything happens when I'm not there. It's weird.
Yeah, you feel like everything happens when you're not there. Okay.
But there's also he runs his brother, his Bobby, his brother, Moses' brother ran red lights and he would follow back behind him and run them too.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to think and see if there's anything else.
But the crazy thing is when I asked, he has a concussion from his head, right? His head was turning, so he wasn't supposed to remember what happened. That's what he says. But when we asked about our mom, he started crying because he knows what happened. That's when Nene started feeling suspicious because if he's not supposed to remember anything, how does he know what happened to our mom? Because that's why he's crying. And his family was trying to shut him up, saying it was a T-bone accident. They started trying to shut him up because Nene asked where you guys going, and he said to her funeral. Most said to her funeral, and that's what shocked me because he was meeting my baby sister and my mom because he killed them, and then his family would meet. We tried to shut them up, saying, "Oh, he meant grave to your grandma."
Oh, gotcha.
And that's when Nene started feeling really suspicious.
Okay. So you feel like people are feeling suspicious
About because his family had to shut him up, and he said funeral meaning Empress and my mom are dead because he killed them. Then his family's trying to shut him up.
Okay.
Trying to say
when you said his family's trying to shut him up, what do you mean? Tell me what you mean by that.
His family, he said that, and they all said, no, he meant it was a T-bone accident, it was a T-bone accident, it was a T-bone accident, and they tried to shut his mouth, and they wouldn't let him talk anymore.
Okay. And who was there when that happened?
Me, my brother, Nene, Glenn, his whole family, his mom, his dad, lots of other people. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so I'm trying to make sure I'm covering everything. So we talked about the accident. We talked about and we talked about being in the house with Mom and Moses. And we talked about and is there and I asked about how you felt and things that you saw. Is there anything about let me say, I'm going through and making sure I covered everything. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to see if there's any questions that I may have missed or things. You can absolutely, while I'm gone, you can, if you want to flip the page, and if you want to write on the that page, and you want to write on there, you can, but help yourself, okay? And I will be right back.
That's not good, Charlie.
You can draw on it if you want to. Yep, and if you want to move seats, because this seat's a little closer, you can, okay? All right, I'll be back. picture.
This is dark.
I see. Got all kinds of stuff going on. I got a few more questions, but we're almost done. So one of the things that I want to go back to is, do you remember when we were talking and you were saying when you guys were at the door that Glenn was there, but he said call him Bob? Do you remember what he was wearing that night?
A gray t-shirt.
A gray t-shirt?
It might have had a picture right here, I don't know.
Okay.
And because I wasn't paying attention to much. And then some long sweatpants with a couple like pockets.
Okay.
And they were like, from here they were rolled up. So they were kind of like shorts. They're like up to here, but they had a big roll up.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Gotcha. So they had big roll up in them. And they were like, you said they were sweatpants?
It was maybe like jeans, sweatpants.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it. And the only other thing, I see why you guys like this chair. The only other thing is, one of the things I always talk to kids about is something that we call body safety. Do you know what body safety is? So when you think of being safe, what do you think of?
Being safe, like in a comfortable area.
Mm-hmm.
Where you got comfortable, you got food, water, sources that you need,
Exactly.
a place to sleep, a roof over your head, doors locked, safe doors that can't easily break down with.
Mm-hmm.
And you make the most things if you're the most place how you feel safe, especially when your body feels like this safe place.
Exactly. So
Then that's when you know it's safe.
that's what you would say. So when we talk about body safety, we talk about all those things. Sometimes kids talk about wearing helmets when they ride bikes. Sometimes we talk about wearing like elbow pads and knee pads. That's one type of safety. And other types is keeping your body safe from like touches that aren't supposed to happen. Are there certain parts of the body that people are not supposed to touch? What are those?
Well, your private part.
Your private parts. Okay. And on a boy, where are those parts? So what are those parts used for?
Oh. I don't know.
So when you say your private parts, we typically tell kids that private parts are the stuff that the bathing suit covers, right? So for you, you said there's certain parts of the body that people aren't supposed to touch.
Like swim trunks cover those parts.
Exactly, swim trunks cover those parts. So for you, so one of the questions I ask is, has anyone ever touched you on any of those parts of your body before? No. Okay.
Only when I'm getting whooped by a belt.
Only when what?
I'm getting whooped by a belt.
Only when you're getting whooped by a belt. Okay. And who does that?
My dad and my mom.
Your dad and your mom.
But sometimes I'll have bumps, like rashes, so that's when I have to check those parts.
Okay, and that's absolutely right. So sometimes parents have to check those parts. Okay, but sometimes people are not supposed to, because we always say a doctor can check those parts, or parents to check and make sure that you're okay, like when you have a rash or something. But if anyone were to ever touch any of those parts of your body, do you have some people that you could tell? Some grown-ups that you could tell? So you would feel safe to tell, so it wouldn't keep happening.
Like, what would I do if they did touch you?
Do you have some people that you could tell? Do you have any grown-ups that you trust? Who?
Derek.
Derek? Who's Derek?
My uncle.
Okay, good deal.
The one who's in the room.
Okay, so Derek. And anybody else?
Like grown-ups, not my sisters, because they're 8.
How's your sister?
17 and 15.
Yeah, more grown-ups. Somebody like, do you have anybody at school that you trust? No? Okay. Other than your Uncle Derek?
My mom.
Your mom, okay. Anybody else?
My dad.
Your dad, okay.
I hate to trust him though, but.
Okay, so your dad.
Give
me one more. So you got Uncle Derek.
Uncle Derek.
Your dad.
And my dad, my mom. Really?
Who?
My grandma, actually.
Okay.
Grandma.
Which grandma?
My mom's side of her grandma. My grandma.
Okay.
My mom's side.
So is she still living? Okay. So somebody that you could tell that would be able to do something about it. So would you feel safe talking to somebody like me if something were to happen? Okay. All right. So I'm here. Do you know the emergency numbers? Do you know what emergency numbers are?
I only know one.
What's that?
911.
That's an emergency number. You can always use that number.
But I also see lots of bad things of what they do though.
No, sometimes you see bad things. Okay. But if you were to need to be safe, or if there was an emergency,
I'll probably call my family.
call your family. Okay. So you got some family that you could call. Okay.
But if there's fire,
Mhm.
ambulance, actually I would never call them. I'll probably call 911.
Oh, no, exactly. Now, that's what the emergency number is for. Now I know you talked about Miss Nene. Do you trust Miss Nene?
Not fully, but
Okay. So okay.
I'll go
that's
to
fair.
her. I trust her like I would go to the store with her.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the main adults would be your uncle or
And my mom and my dad.
your mom and dad. Okay, so you got that. All right. So my next question was, I asked you, had anyone ever touched you on their private parts? Has anyone ever asked you to touch them on their private parts?
No.
No. Okay, great. And if you could use those same people and those same numbers if you need some help. So I have asked you a whole bunch of questions. Lots and lots and lots of questions. Do you have any questions for me about what we talked about today? None?
Actually, one.
Okay.
No. So can I ask if I can keep this? But
You can. I can absolutely pull that off and
I
let
don't
you
want to
keep it.
make a new one because I messed up right here. I was trying to make my baby sister makeup, but that won't turn.
You can keep it. Now I'll keep this piece and you can keep that one. How about that? Okay. All right. Well, are you ready to go up front? Because you've been here for a long time today.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do that. Well, I'll rip this off for you.
A little beach.
And a little beach. Yep. And there's some more markers and stuff up front. Well, I really want to thank you for talking to me today. I really appreciate it. Look at that. Did you see that other side? I appreciate
Well,
it.
does it make it sticky?
I think it does. I think it keeps it from being sticky. Do you want me to leave it on there?
Will it make it sticky? Oh, yeah. So I'm probably gonna hang it up from my wall.
Okay, then I'll leave that on there. All right, well, let's go on up front. Hold on for a second. Let me hold on to this for 1 second, but I'll bring it to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, come on.